Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Bedrock Guide. In the previous episode, we spent some time building that right there. If you don't know what it is or you missed the previous episode, shame on you. Go back and watch it. And so we have ourselves a villager breeder. And as far as I know, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fully grown villagers. We had a nitwit in there, and unfortunately we had to let him go. We gotta fire those guys. And so we're just waiting on another villager to breed, because today we are going to be working on our iron farm. Now, I did mention in the previous episode that this might have been the spot of our iron farm, and I'm gonna go ahead and say we're not gonna do this. So I'm gonna rip all of this out for the time being, because I do have a different idea for what is gonna go in this spot, but you'll have to wait and see for a future episode. We kind of already talked about it a little bit, but let's officially talk about our goals for today's episode. The first one being to breed up some villagers. The second goal is to get our iron farm all laid out. And the third one is to get all of the villagers into the iron farm and linked up with all of their beds and profession blocks, all of which we'll talk about a little bit later. So basically, we're just going to show you the process of how to get an iron farm up and running. We're standing on top of our pirate ship, and the villager breeder is way off over there hanging on that mountainside. This is where we originally planned to build the iron farm, but that is not going to be where we do it. Right over here is actually where we're going to build it today. You can see a couple of pillars where we've marked off the area. And the reason why we switched it up is because if we were to build the iron farm right there, the edge of it would be about 80 blocks away from that village, which is a little bit too close for comfort. So I believe the edge of this iron farm is actually going to be about 190 blocks away, so over twice as far away from our breeder, and this will absolutely be outside of the boundaries, and we won't have any crossover between the two villages. The first step to build our iron farm is to take this 28 by 28 block area and dig it down just a little bit, because we don't want to be flat on top of the surface. We want to be recessed into the ground. This is just a design choice. You could build it right here, you could build it up in the air, but for our aesthetic design purposes, I'm going to dig it down just a little bit. This would be so much easier if we had a beacon. Speaking of, we're gonna have to have a wither episode sometime soon, because we're gonna have a lot of digging projects very similar to this. Okay, I dug out a little bit more than I was expecting to, but I think this is a good place to start rolling. I dropped it all the way down to water level at Y level 63 because I'm thinking we might have a couple of entrances into the farm, one of which is over here on the ship side of the mountain, maybe a little cave passageway that will get us into the iron farm, and then I'm thinking maybe something over on this side as well at some point down the road. Another thing to note as well is that when I started digging, I told you guys this was 28 by 28. I was off by 1, so it is 29 by 29. This is based off of Old Guy's iron farm, and I will link his farm in the description below. Be sure to go give some support to Old Guy as well. So whenever we do something like this that is a pretty common practice, I like to give credit to the person who originally came up with the idea. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna come over here to the corner and we're gonna count 1, 2, and then go here, and then 1, 2, and then go here. This is the corner of the farm, and we're just gonna start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and we should have 2 blocks here and 2 blocks here. This is the lower platform of the iron farm. There are 2 platforms in this iron farm, and we're gonna make a 25 by 25 square. And then what we can do is pick just any random block here. We can count out 1, 2, 3, and then we'll do the same thing over here and go 1, 2, 3. And then what we wanna do is fill in all of the space around the farm that meets these edges. So we will have a 3 wide platform coming out from the edge of the farm. Take note as well that this is only done on the bottom platform. The top platform is slightly more narrow, and we don't need to do this. Once we've got the additional 3 blocks of space all the way around, we're gonna dig this down 1 more. You don't have to do this unless you care about aesthetics. I'm just gonna replace all of these blocks with blackstone really quick, just to have a more uniform look, because we will be decorating the inside of this farm at some point. We have our entire platform filled in now, except for this 3 by 3 area in the middle. middle. This is going to serve as the drop point where the iron golems will fall through and they will meet their unfortunate demise. Over here in the corner, we're going to go ahead and build up 2 blocks right here. I'm going to use some basalt just for a little bit of texture variation, and then we're going to use some black stained glass to go all the way around. You don't have to use glass. You can fill this in with solid blocks, but I think it would be cool to be able to see what's going on the inside of the farm. That's pretty much it for the first platform. So let's go here to the middle and we'll count up 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on the 5th block here, we will start our second platform. So from the middle, we want to count out 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we want to do that in every direction. So we'll come over here to the center on the edge of the drop area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we will fill in this entire area. Put a couple of temporary blocks down right here. And we're going to go ahead and put a border around this farm as well, using a combination of polished basalt and regular basalt. So for the corners, we're going to do polished basalt for these pillars and the layer that is equal to the level of this black stone right here. And then we'll fill the rest in with regular basalt. Just make sure you break out these temporary pillars. If you build it this way, we don't want anything in here blocking any spawn points for the farm. And we're going to need this area clear anyways for water to flow. So once we do that, we've got a floating platform. And then we'll come down here and we'll start placing down our regular basalt. And again, we want to make sure that this is a solid block. Down below, we did glass just so we could see what's going on with the golems. The top level, we do not want that to happen. We're going to be putting villagers on the outside of this platform right here, and we don't want to have any opportunities for them to glitch inside the farm. So solid blocks, no glass. There are some weird bugs in the game right now with transparent blocks being allowed to glitch the players and mobs through them. So again, we just want to be careful. Now that we've got both platforms in place, we need to start preparation for getting our villagers transported over here. They are going to stand on a platform outside of the main spawn area, and we'll make room for villagers and their profession blocks. And then underneath this platform right here, we're going to put some beds. We got to be careful when this gets dark as well, because this is technically a spawnable area for other mobs until we get water flowing in here. So it might not be a bad idea to light this up temporarily until you get the water flowing. But we'll go over here to this pillar right here and we'll look at the bottom section. And what we want to do is we want to put a platform out even with the bottom of the farm. This block right here is where the villagers are going to stand. This is where their profession blocks are going to go. And then this is why we built this out a little bit wider, so we'd have a little bit of a walk path around the farm. Again, this is a flat wall. It doesn't look good. We're going to get to the aesthetics sometime later down the road. Today's video is all about the mechanics of this farm with a little bit of decoration. But we are ready to start building our villager holding cells, and we're going to start right here. This is going to be the place where the villager stands, so we want to make sure to box them in. So we'll pillar up a couple blocks just like this, and then I'm going to put a block here. And then basically we'll just skip every other one, and by the time we get down to the end of the row, we're going to have a spot for 10 villagers on each side of this farm. Then over here in between each of these pillars, like the villager's going to stand right here, all right? And then right here in front of him, there's going to be a profession block. A lot of these we're going to use lecterns because we want plenty of librarians. And then we'll use all the different toolsmith types as well. Toolsmith, weaponsmith, armorsmith, those guys. So we can trade iron with all of the smith types and get emeralds and then immediately flush them back into our librarians. If you remember my previous video about the villager breeder, all you need is a villager and a bed. With an iron farm, you need a villager, a bed, and a workstation in order for the iron golems to spawn. So 75% of the villagers in a village need to have an interaction with their workstation in order for an iron golem to spawn in this area. And they will spawn in a 16 by 6 by 16 area centered around the original point of interest, which in our case is going to be the first bed placed. And so all of the iron golems should spawn in this area and on the bottom platform below. So once we do enclose this area and cap it off with a mountain, we shouldn't have any iron golems spawning up top, just in our designated platforms here. Last thing we need to do before we get the villagers over here is find a way to trap them in, which is just going to be a couple pieces of glass. that we'll put in front of every holding chamber. Okay, so I've got my rail system set up here, and I've got a little bumper just in case we happen to not pick up a villager. I don't know that that would be the case. We should pick one up through the side of that little chamber there, but just in case, I don't want to have to chase the minecart down. We'll break this as soon as we've got a villager inside and send the villager on down the minecart track, which leads over to our iron farm. You could do some fancy-pantsy redstone contraption, or you could just drop a minecart in the corner here, like so. And it didn't pick one up. There we go. We got a second one. We'll go ahead and break that. That's okay that he's there, and then we'll just go ahead and send it on its way. Now, I've got this all set up to where it will go directly into the first chamber of the iron farm. As you can see, we've got our railroad tracks going right here, and we'll be able to send these on around into each individual chamber as we fill them up. So here comes our first villager to drop into the holding chamber, and bada bing, bada boom, easy peasy. We're ready to go. Then we can break this first one and come down here and break the rail, reclaim that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a button right here, and right here. And those will be important in just a few minutes. Hold on to that thought. We'll show you what we'll do with these buttons momentarily. I'm going to leave him sitting in there for now. Oh, he just grew up. Never mind. If he was going to stay a baby villager, I was going to leave him in there, but we'll go ahead and bring him out anyway. So what I want to do is I want to break this bottom piece of glass, and then I want to break the minecart. Get that minecart back to bring some more villagers over. And then I want to cap off the top here. And we're going to use some basalt. I need to go get some. And we'll put some basalt over the top of this guy. We don't want him escaping or bouncing or getting out of there. More importantly, this is to keep these villagers working even during the rain. Librarians have an issue where they do not work in the rain. They just don't like rain. That's fine. We'll cover them in. Then we won't have that problem. Then the other issue with Bedrock Edition is these guys like to de-link from their workstations all the time. It's super annoying, kind of crazy. So in order to fix that problem, as long as they are constantly bouncing, which if we place some water right here, they're constantly bouncing, we won't have any problem with them delinking from their profession blocks, which will be placed right in front of them. This right here is why we put the buttons down, so we don't have water flowing all over the place and breaking stuff. So now we can go ahead and put this back in for the moment, and our first villager is trapped nice and snug in his holding chamber. Let's go get some more villagers. And before you know it, you'll have a farm that looks like this. This was not as quick as a snap of the fingers like you just saw from jump cut to jump cut. We only did one villager on camera, but we spent hours transporting these guys, and all of them are in place. We have 40 villagers surrounding our iron farm now, and you might notice as well, every single one of them has a brown coat. If any of them have a green coat, which by the way, we had a couple, we ended up taking them out and replacing them with valuable villagers. So basically, if you don't know what the green coat is, a green coat villager is a nitwit, and a nitwit cannot have a job because he's a nitwit. And if you got a bunch of nitwits in your farm that can't work, they don't interact with their profession blocks, and therefore they don't spawn iron golems. So nitwits are not allowed in the iron farm. They're useless. Don't bring them in here. So now that we've got our villagers in place, the next thing that we need to do is drop down into the center of the farm here, and we need to dig out a little section where we're going to drop them down into a lava blade and to land eventually on a campfire. And again, I'm doing this live on Twitch with a live studio audience, and we were just having a conversation beforehand about how to take these golems out once they reach the drop area, and the conversation about cats came up. And if we don't have enough lava flowing through here, the cats are just going to escape, and it'll be really annoying, and we need to kill the cats so we can get some extra string. So I'm going to set this up, and then we'll talk about what we've got going on. We didn't do anything too crazy with the drop area here. It's just straight blackstone. So then the next thing we need to do is break out all of these blocks right here, and we're going to grab one of 15 hoppers here, and we're going to place one facing straight down in the middle, and then every other hopper is going to face directly into this. So we'll do a little plus sign shape like this. And then it doesn't matter which other ones you feed these into as long as they're going into one. So we'll just do it in a little bit of a roundabout way like this. We'll go here. We'll go here. We'll go here. So now, anything that falls onto this platform, aka iron or string or poppies, will all flow into this center hopper here. Then we're going to go ahead and break this right here and dig down for just a moment, just to get a temporary collection area set up. And here we go with the last couple of hoppers here. We've got one left over. We could do one more double chest if we want, but I think 5 double chests of iron storage for the time being is going to be more than enough, because in a future episode, not too far in the distance, I think it's probably the next one, we are actually going to be doing an auto sorting system for this. So this is just temporary to get us through today. That's basically our collection area, our hoppers feeding into the chests below, and now we've got to have a way to take care of the golems because they will not die from fall damage, and we've got a couple ways that we're going to take them out. So the first way is going to be with signs. We're going to place signs right here, 3 in a row, just like that, and then we're going to place 1 here and 1 here. And we're just going to do that all the way across until we have a 3x3 grid of signs. And then we'll take our bucket of lava and we'll place 1 bucket of lava above a sign in each of the 4 corners of this drop area. So we'll place 1 right here, we'll place 1 right here, 1 right here, and 1 right here. We've got a full lava blade, and the iron golems will fall through there, and so will cats. They'll take damage, but they shouldn't die from that. Once they fall down onto the floor here, this is where the fun happens. We're gonna take our soul campfires and place them on top of our hoppers. When the cats and golems end up dying on these soul campfires, we should get the drops straight through into the hoppers. They will not be damaged to fire. They will not be damaged by the fire down here, but we will. So we got to be careful. I was warned about this. They said, drink a fire resistance potion, Blue. I said, no, it'll be fine. So we'll take our last campfire and place it down here on the hopper, and boom. That is our entire kill floor and collection system all done. And now all we have to do really is activate this farm. Wow, that is just a nice little happy accident here. The smoke from the campfires just barely reaches over the top of the drop floor there. Oh, just the doom, the impending doom of our golems. Oh, that's so much fun. It serves no purpose having that smoke there. It's just a nice little aesthetic feel to the farm. I love it. Okay, so now that we've got our collection and killing floor in place, we've got these 2 shulker boxes right here full of beds and full of profession blocks or job sites. We're going to start with the beds, and we're just going to grab as many as we can. We have 40 beds available for our 40 villagers, and the second that we place one down, a villager should link with it. Oh, let's be very careful. Let's be very careful not to fall into the lava. Okay, here we go. Ah! Okay, we're good. We're good. See, that was not so bad. And just because we're scaredy cats, we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to cover it up so we don't accidentally fall in. And more importantly, so one of our beds doesn't fall in if we have to break it. All right, so now that we've got our lava floor covered up, we're not going to fall in there and get hurt. We also have a temporary platform. We will expand this as we go around, but this is going to be where we put our beds. One thing you guys should note as well is that our villager breeder is off in that direction. We did have some issues with our villagers not unlinking from the beds over there, at least not for a little bit of time. So just to ensure that we're not having any cross-link issues with the village mechanics at the breeder, we broke all of the beds over at the breeder for the time being, which we will replace when we're ready to use that again. And just to make sure we don't have any connection issues, we're going to go as far away from the villager breeder as possible and place our first bed down right here, which should be the center of the farm. Then all we got to do is start placing beds around in a circle like this until we have placed down 40 beds. And as much as I hate to say it, that right there is a good sign. I absolutely hate cats. I'm highly allergic to them, and I feel like they're the worst animal in the world. Don't comment at me. But that is a good sign, because that does tell us that this is now considered a village, because we have villagers that have linked up with these beds, and we've got cats spawning in. That's good. That's very, very good. We're going to go ahead and keep on placing all 40 of our beds down, and then we'll work on profession blocks. Hey guys, watch this. We've reached the point in the video now where we're going to start putting down water streams in here so we can flush all of our iron golems and these nasty cats down into the lava blade and the campfire floor. We've got a block in each corner which we'll place water on. You'll see that here in just a moment. But before we do, this is only 7 blocks wide on each side of the chamber, and so water is going to flow over into this once we bust out that floor right there, and we don't want to turn our lava into obsidian, so we do need to make sure that we put some signs in here. We've got 9 signs in our drop area, and then we're going to go around and place 8 more. So we're going to do one here, here, here. It's a little crooked. That's really going to bother me, but I don't care enough to fix it. It's going to be fine. All this is going to do is keep the water from overflowing into the lava. You need these signs in this orientation, so we've got it. I'll just have to live with the fact that there's a crooked sign in my iron farm, and, you know, Another thing we should probably talk about with these signs as well, you don't have to put these signs right here on top, but I did anyway just because we will have water floating on top of the bottom signs, and I just don't want to risk that any cats or golems get an idea in their head that they're going to try to swim and avoid the lava down below. So just to avoid any potential clog in the system or slowing of the system, we put these signs here to block the water off to stop right here. So once they flow over the edge, they're just going to fall straight down. Okay, so over here, we're going to go ahead and place our water buckets down. I've got blocks in all 4 corners. We're going to place one right here next to this block, but make sure that you remember this block right here. We'll talk about it in a minute. Then we're going to skip one, and we're going to put one right here, and we've got ourselves an infinite water source right in the middle of this block. We need to continue to take from that source right there because water is weird. Water mechanics are weird. If we place one just randomly right here in the middle, it's going to do a single flow path find to the lowest section of land, which is right here, before it will spread out. So you won't get infinite water sources in the middle of the platform. You've got to grab them from over here where we've got a little bit more space to work with. When we have this entire row filled in, we want to make sure to take this one out before placing water on top of this block. If you don't, it's going to turn into one solid water source, and that's not a good thing. We'll come back to that when we're done, and I'll remind you, and I'll show you so you don't forget, because truthfully, I already forgot. So I've got most of the water in place. We do need to go around and take these out. There's not one right here. We'll take this one out. There's empty spots here, but that's no problem because as soon as we place a water bucket right on top of this, it's going to funnel everything into the corner. And now we should have water flowage all the way around this side of the farm. We need to do the same thing over here. So we'll grab that one and put it there. And then we'll go over here and grab that one and put it there. And then last but not least, we'll take this one and toss it down right there. And now this platform is ready to go. If we were to just sit here, Toy Story 3 style, we're gonna go right into the lava, but let's not do that. My friends on Twitch have informed me that I've been wasting my time and yours. Even though I still like the water bucket method, it is a valid method of placing water for iron farms and things like that. Maybe it takes a little longer, but here we've got some ice. And here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go boom, 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 all the way around. You do need a silk touch pickaxe for this, so make sure you have one. And we're gonna basically do the exact same thing that we did around the bottom layer, except for we don't have the little dip down to worry about. And look at that, the ice is already melting. We've got issues with ice melting. We'll make sure that all of this is melting and the water will start flowing. This is much quicker. I guess they're right. I guess I gotta give them mad props for being right. Place the ice down and you're gonna get quicker water flow. And all you gotta do is break it. You don't even have to wait for it to melt. So break, 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 break. Or if you have a fortune pickaxe, you just go boom, 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 boom. Uh-oh, see, this is the problem. This is the problem right here. Be careful not to break your platform. And that's it. That literally took 30 seconds when we spent about probably 5 minutes doing the platform below. So right now, cats are the only thing that are gonna spawn in here until we grab these. Now, I do have a ton of different profession blocks here, and we're going to use all of them for now. I'm not going to really explain what each of them do because that is going to be saved for a future video. All you need to know is that you have to have a profession block in front of a villager that is accessible so they can work in order for this farm to spawn in golems. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a profession block and I'm going to place it down on the ground. We want to watch for a villager to link with this because villager mechanics are weird. If we place this in front of this guy, he's not necessarily going to be the one to be like, hey, I want that job. And so we need to make sure to watch for whichever villager decides to take this job. And the best way to do that is to kind of stand in the corner, place one down. We've got green sparklies, but I don't see the green sparklies anywhere on this side of the farm. Not down here, not down there. So we'll delink whichever villager it is, and it will always be the same villager. We can go down to this corner of the farm, place it down, and we've got green sparklies on this guy right here. So what we can do is we can break this glass block, And then we don't even have to choose the grindstone. We can pick whichever one we want. Now, I do have a system for this. I know exactly which villagers I want, and I believe this wall right here is going to be librarians. So I'm going to take my lecterns, and we'll toss a lectern right there, and we've got a librarian. Now, we're not going to talk about what each of these professions do in this video. We will have a separate video in the near future talking about these trades because we will roll them to what we want them to have and all of that good stuff. But that is for a future video. We are literally just trying to get the farm going so that we can spawn in iron golems. So we'll take our lectern right here, toss another one down, and look for the green sparklies. I don't see it right here. Another way that you could do this is you could walk around and look for the librarian, and there he is right there. So I just wasn't able to see the green sparkles. So if you want to save some time, just try to look in the corners. If you don't happen to see him, walk around the farm, find the one you're looking for, break the glass, and then go break the profession block and bring it on over to him. Get out of here. Get out of here. There we go. We got another librarian in the row of librarians. And honestly, that's it. That's all there is to it. We need to make sure that we get all of these profession blocks in place, and then we should start seeing iron golems spawning in. That's it, everybody. We've got all of the villager professions in place. Every single last one of these guys has a job. They're gainfully employed. And unfortunately, these three guys right here, I discovered earlier today that these guys had been turned into witches, which I think is due to the fact that he was bouncing up into the hitbox of this block right here because of the buggy bugs that are in the game right now. And boom, 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 lightning strike transformed those three guys. We added a block here and a block here that will hopefully prevent that from happening now. Other than that, guys, this thing is up and running. We have iron golems spawning in all the time. This thing is putting out some pretty great rates. I've already tested it out for about an hour, and it put out just about 400 pieces of iron in 1 hour. Oh, that's a lot. That's amazing. I'm going to run a lot more tests on it just to see if that's a consistent number or if it will fluctuate any. But let's see if we can get an iron golem to spawn in here. And now we wait. You're not an iron golem. Oh, you are. Hello. We got a cat and 2 iron golems. Look at that. They're just going to fall right into our little trap and go down and become future hoppers. So let's head on down here and I'll show you what we've got so far. So if we come on down in here into our makeshift storage area, this is temporary again. Look at all that iron. Good gracious. That's a lot. That's amazing. Okay, so in the very next episode, we are going to transform this storage area into a storage room worthy of an iron farm. So stay tuned for that. But guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, do all of the things, leave a comment in the comment section below. But thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.